Hi, Paul.
Hi, Sonia. Hi, this is Paul Sykes, Good News Broadcast. I'm speaking with Sonia. Hi, Sonia. How are you doing?
I'm great.
What's that in the background? I hear a little baby.
That's Darshan.
That's Darshan.
Yeah, my son. He's now 18 months old.
Okay. Fantastic. And Darshan went on a long boat ride, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He didn't exactly volunteer to go. He kind of ended up there.
Sonia, you went out 1,000 Days at Sea with Reid Stowe. When actually did you leave initially? Do you remember when the date was?
We left April 21st, 2007, and the plan was to go 1,000 days at sea, nonstop, without resupply, without coming to shore.
Okay, and you literally pretty much did that, except for up front. You had a little slowdown at the beginning, right? The first couple days.
Yes, we left the Hudson River out of New York City. Well, actually, it was Hoboken, New Jersey, with our dock,
Right.
and we traveled out into the Atlantic Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And 15 days out, we were involved with a collision with a freighter.
Right.
And that kind of slowed us down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Reid had to make some repairs to the boat before we could sail properly again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bit of a nerve-wracking experience. But we got through it. And a month later, we were sailing. And 100 days passed, 200 days passed, and we were heading down into the southern hemisphere, into the South Atlantic Ocean, and the weather began to change, and the waves got rougher, and the situation just became more intense at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you were still forward motion at that time, right?
Yep.
And how come you did this to begin with?
Yeah, good question. Well, I was just graduating out of college, and I had an interest in the waterfront from the beginning. And I was a photography student, taking pictures of the waterfront in New York City and different cities along the East Coast. And when I graduated, I said, what next? I wasn't quite sure what next. And I had known Reid at that point for about 3 years. And he was preparing to go away for 1,000 days. And, wow, this is so interesting, to be out on the water. Now, mind you, I had no sailing experience at the time, and but Reid had said he was looking for someone to go with him for a crew, and they didn't necessarily need to have sailing experience because he would be able to teach whomever, what they needed to know. They just needed to follow directions, basically, and keep a cool head when the situation called for it.
Or a baby cried.
And so, at the point where I was at crossroads, as it were, I thought, this is kind of a good opportunity for me to do something interesting, and it had to do with the water, which I loved, and so I told Reid that I wanted to go, and surprisingly, he said, okay.
Dun-da-da, and history began.
Yeah.
So you continued on, and 300 days passed, and they got up just a few days after 300, and you started, well, maybe a little bit before that, you realized what?
Well, as we got into the rougher waters of the Southern Ocean, I began to experience very strong nausea, and I thought it was seasickness. And
Right.
I was very, very, sick. I was, bedridden pretty much for 2 months or so.
Wow.
And I told Reid, I think I have to get off. I don't think I'm healthy enough to keep going. And we're being in the middle of the ocean. You're not near any kind of medical assistance. You're not near any people or anything. And it was kind of dangerous. So the next bit of land was Australia. So we sailed towards Australia, and a boat came out from Perth, the Royal Perth Yacht Club, and I was transferred to that boat, and that boat took me to land, to Australia, where I then flew back to New York City. And so when I got to land, it was confirmed that I was actually pregnant, and that I had been suffering from morning sickness.
Boy. And now you have a little baby boy, 18 months old?
Yeah. It's hard to believe it. He's over a year old already, and time has passed so quickly.
And it's hard to believe that the Reid's out there more than 3 years. You were out there for over, almost a year.
Yeah, I was out there for 10 months. The longest time any female has been at sea without stopping or resupplying.
It's mind-boggling, the whole situation.
Yeah, and Reid's been out there for over 2.5 years now. It hasn't been quite 3 years yet.
Right. So, but this Saturday is 1,000 days. Do we call it 1,000 days?
Yep, this Saturday is day 1,000, and that was the goal Reid has set for himself when he originally prepared for this voyage. To do the longest sea voyage in history, he had decided that he would go to sea for 1,000 days nonstop.
Well, he's a man of his word.
and at so many points, it looked like, like, will he make it to 1,000? Will he make it to, 200 even? But he did, 100 days passed, 200 days, it just kept going by. And now he's out there for 1,000 days. But he is not returning in January. Coming back to New York City in the winter is a bit rough. There are more common occurrences of gale winds and storms in the North Atlantic. So he's decided to come back when the weather is a lot better, which is in June. Right.
It's a wild, wild story, and we've had the honor to interview both of you over all these time, and Reid even years and years prior to this and so on, and been following it and talking to him. And so what did you learn from this whole experience, Sonia?
Oh, I learned so much. It's hard to encapsulate it into 1 or 2 sentences.
Okay.
But I think what I got out of it most was how intensely you can experience life, how strongly you can feel your own emotions. When you're walking in a place that's so close to death, where danger is always around you, things take on a very how do you say? A very strong contrast. You really see what's important and what's not. It all comes down to, survival and your own abilities to be strong and help you to survive through, various situations and to feel your emotions, but also to understand that, you have a choice on how you act on those emotions. You can look at a situation and say, oh my God, it's so bad, I can never do it again, or, just totally freak out. Or you can say, okay, I feel afraid, but I'm going to try to see the positive in this. I'm going to try to be, calm and just take it as it comes and not try to control everything. Well, yeah, it's hard to do that. It's really hard. But I mean, I've had many instances where you just have to let go and just have faith that it's going to work out.
The lens of life. And she takes beautiful photography, and she took beautiful photography. Sonia, congratulations on your talents in that regard.
Yeah,
And
we took
it's beautiful.
we tried to take a lot of pictures while we were out there, and also video. And you can see that on our website at www.1000days.net. That's 100days.net.
Right.
And we sent back daily blogs and recordings of our experiences out there. And after I left, Reid continued to do so. And he did so all the way up until last month when his computer broke down.
Right.
And that was the spare computer. The other one had gone long before. So he was not able to send pictures anymore. And now he does his blogs by phone, so they're audio blogs.
Right. It's all good. It's all good. So we're having a big party on Saturday in celebration, and once again, Sonia, congratulations. You're a sweetheart, and you had the perfect temperament to go out there with him and to handle it in this perfect mindset. And so thankful that you did that, and I'm thankful to know you and to get the chance to speak with you once again. So I look forward to seeing you Saturday, and with all the joy that everybody will be having.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, take care. Talk to you soon, Sonia.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.